Hi guys, Mr. B here, and today we're going to be looking at creating loads of atmosphere in our writing, making our writing really atmospheric and making sure readers really want to keep involved with what we've wrote, okay? Now first we're just going to look at what I mean when I say we're going to create atmosphere. The atmosphere is sort of the feeling that the book or that part of the book is trying to give you, is trying to give the reader, okay? Really good books create atmosphere so well. If it's a scary book, or a horror book or something like that, you're scared as well. You're feeling it because it's wrote so well and the atmosphere seeps out of the book. So we're talking about creating a futuristic atmosphere, dark, funny, scary. You're going to have happy sort of books that are trying to make the reader smile, make you feel happy about what's happening. Depressing books, sad books, okay? Or not just the whole book, a section of a book's depressing. Something really bad's happening. You need to create that atmosphere so everyone feels the same as the characters and what's happening in the book. Magical. So there's lots of different atmospheres that you can go for, and it's really good to create these to improve our writing. So first we're going to look at what it is you do, and then we're going to have a look at an example to help us do it ourselves. Okay, so let's in a nutshell have a look at what it is that creates our atmosphere. Now, this might look like a little bit of a cop-out when you read it through, but I'm going to explain myself, so just listen, okay? So, when we create an atmosphere, what we need to do, we need to describe what's there. What's there in the scene. This can be all the little things. Some people say there's a field, okay? But we're thinking of everything. What's in that field? Blades of grass, plants, insects, trees. We're describing everything that's there because that helps set that scene and create that atmosphere. Action, so what's happening? This can be what characters are doing. It can be giving actions to, using personification, give actions to some of our nouns that we use. What's happening? That can create the atmosphere. We've got describing the scene as well. So the adjectives. Now this is really important though, because it's about the adjectives we use. We want to not just say, oh, there is a man, we describe the man. There is a tree, we describe the tree. But it's very important the adjectives that we choose. Okay, I'm going to come back to that when we finish these points. And the last one's how the actions are happening. So we've talked about our actions, but how they're being done. So that's our adverbs, okay? So we're looking at nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs. And I know you're just thinking, we're just naming the different words that we use. But what I'm talking about is thinking about the language we're using all the time. Thinking about everything that we're writing, okay? So to create the atmosphere, we don't just say, oh, I'm going to say it's dark, and that'll create a dark atmosphere. It won't. We need to make sure everything that we describe, the actions, the adverbs, the adjectives, the nouns, everything that we do and everything that we mention creates the atmosphere we want. Okay, so if I'm creating a funny atmosphere, when I'm describing them, I'm using funny adjectives. When I'm telling about the actions, I'm not talking about walking, I'm talking about how they're doing, the skipping, the tiptoeing, okay? The wobbling, okay? So when they're walking, they walked with a wobble, okay? Or they walked quite strangely. We're using all of our words because we're using funny words to create that atmosphere. When we describe things, we're describing them in a funny way. Same if it's a futuristic way. The way things are being done and the way people are described and what we can see is what's going to create that atmosphere. Okay? Now, some of you might get that, some of you might think that sounds like a lot. What I'm going to do is show you an example of this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a picture up on the screen, and while this picture's on, I'm going to tell you what we'd be looking at, how we create this atmosphere while we go through it. So as you can see in this picture, this is a really good picture. We can instantly look at it and see that we're wanting to create sort of a quite creepy or a scary or a dark atmosphere if we were writing about this. So the first thing that you need to do if you create an atmosphere is you need to know what's happening. So we plan out what we're going to be writing before we write it. You picture in your mind what it's going to look like. If you want to draw a little drawing or something like that to help you think of it, if you're good at art, that can be great as well. Have a look online for pictures of that similar to sort of the scene that you want. Okay? Now, the first way to create an atmosphere is the scene. So that's what we first saw, is what's there, the nouns. So we're looking at it. If we look at this one, we've got mansion. Okay, we've got roots, so you can see the trees, clouds, trees themselves, the moon's there. There's columns on the building holding it up, windows, the front door, we have mist and fog, we have the moonlight, we also have the light coming from the actual building itself. So there's lots of things there, there's lots more that I haven't went into, but you can see there's all those things that we described. So when you're setting the scene, you're not just seeing, oh, there was a dark mansion, okay? Look at all those things in that picture. The more you set the scene, the better the atmosphere you create. This is where we start off. We get these words. So we've had a look at the different things that are in the picture, and now what we're going to do is try and add some adjectives in there, try to describe those things, but not just using any adjectives. I'm not just looking at that picture and thinking, that mansion's tall, so I'm going to call it a tall mansion. That mansion is big, I'm going to call it big, because big and tall, although they're right and it is describing the mansion, it's not words that we use that would describe the setting, they don't give the atmosphere. So what I was thinking of, when I was thinking of the mansion big, I thought of it looming over someone or towering over someone. That's a better word than big or tall, towering and looming, because if it's looming, it's looking over someone, it's making you feel uneasy. So although I'm doing the same thing, seeing how big the mansion is, I'm doing it in a way where I'm creating an atmosphere with the adjectives I'm using. I've done that same with here, okay? I've got ghostly moonlight, okay? I haven't said bright. Bright isn't giving the same atmosphere I want to create. I'm creating a dark one at the minute, so ghostly moonlight. So we do have that light, but it's creating an eerie atmosphere. We've got dark clouds there. I had dark clouds at first and I thought, I like that. It's dark, it's the right atmosphere, but I do a better word. I used a thesaurus, and I look for another word, okay? Use thesauruses, get them online, have your own one at home, they really help. And I thought ominous clouds, okay? We have ominous clouds, it looks like something bad's about to happen. Again, adding to the atmosphere. I've got the pale moon, okay? I didn't say white, the white moon, brilliant. You've described the moon, but you haven't had the atmosphere. Pale moon, just a slight change, and it makes it a lot better, adds the atmosphere. And then we've got the roots of the trees. First, I was thinking they look straggly, but I don't know, it didn't fit in, that word straggly. So again, I used my thesaurus. And loitering, okay? I wasn't sure I'd use that one, but I thought it was better, because if you loiter, you're staying around and you shouldn't really be there. So again, it's adding the atmosphere. All those descriptive words add to my atmosphere. So yes, we're using adjectives and we're describing it, but it's thinking about which ones we use. It's thinking about our language and really thinking about every word we use. Now, once we've got these words, we can start to form sentences. We can start to put them in to really create that atmosphere. Okay, so now I've got some of the examples there, and I've had another one. I've got looming mansion, pale moonlight, cracked roots. I've got some good descriptive words there, but I'm not just going to put them in and help them create the atmosphere. Everything I put around it, I want to help create this dark and mysterious and creepy atmosphere. So when I'm putting in my adjectives, when I'm putting in my adverbs, I'm really thinking about what they are. So I've got the looming mansion, so I might put something like the looming mansion, let's have a look, seemed to look down at them. Okay, so I've got the looming mansion seemed to look down, so I've got some actions there. The mansion I'm personifying, it's looking down on them. Okay, so I'm just looking at them, it's looking down on them, so they feel small, they feel insignificant, so does the reader. Actually, I'm going to change that. I'm going to change that look, okay? I'm thinking about my language, I'm thinking about my verbs. I don't just want look, I want a word that really adds the atmosphere. It's going to peer down at them, okay? As if it's trying not to be seen. Again, I've changed one word, changes the sentence quite a lot. The looming mansion seemed to peer down at them, okay? Makes it a little bit more foreboding. Really good language in there. So we've got the pale moonlight. Let's think what it is there, okay? So we've got the pale moonlight. So we can see it's quite dark. So that's the only real light that there is there in the picture. So it's going to be creating the shadows, but obviously, let's have a look. How can we have it? So the pale moonlight caused dark shadows, okay? And I want to add some more to that, but I've got pale moonlight, dark shadow, cause dark shadows. Again, so this thing here is causing something that's adding to the atmosphere. Let's change this dark, let's put maybe ominous in there. Actually, no, because we've used ominous earlier, we'll put in sinister. Here, describing the shadows in a different way, because dark's good, it's telling us what they are, but sinister's adding the atmosphere. It's called in sinister shadows, and obviously the moonlight with the clouds, things are going to be moving in the wind, things like that. So the shadows are going to be moving. So cause the shadows to move around them. So let's think again. Pale moonlight, obviously it should be capital P, I didn't know I was going to emphasize sentence. Pale moonlight causes sinister shadows to move around them. Okay, so the shadows are sinister, they're moving around them. Again, I'm going to think about my verbs. I've got move. Let's change that to creep. Okay, again, so I'm thinking about my verbs. They're not just moving, they're creeping, adding to the atmosphere. And let's go this last one, cracked roots, okay? So there's the roots of the trees there, I've changed cracked. I think I'm going to put another adjective in there though. Ancient cracked roots, okay? So again, making them feel old, move away from them. They're moving away from the mansion, okay? But I don't just want to say the mansion. The cracked roots move. Let's think about this verb first and we'll come back to that. So we moved it to sort of creep, so I don't want to use that again. We could have them, they're on the floor, okay? I think I'm going to have them crawling, okay? Ancient cracked roots, crawl away, that's better, because it's on its floor, it's small, it's crawling for some reason. You crawl for a reason. Normal people don't crawl, you crawl because you're trying to get underneath something or you're hiding from someone. So again, and the atmosphere. So ancient cracked roots, crawl away from, I don't want to say the mansion, okay? So I'm going to extend that, I'm going to say from the darkness inside. Now these sentences, I want to try and put some adverbs in there. Okay, so we talk about adverbs. How are they crawling? We could have another one in here. How is it creeping? Okay, creep slowly around them. I like that one. So they're creeping slowly around them. Okay, so peer. Brilliant. The looming mansion seemed to peer angrily down at them. So now we're adding in some adverbs of how they're doing the verbs. And again, it's adding, it's not peering down nicely, having a laugh or anything like that. It's really telling us it's peering down angrily. Again, look, I'm editing these all the time. That's what we do with our work. If you want the best work, we look at it, we change it, we add words, we improve all the time, okay? So, I like this one. Ancient root, cracked roots, crawl away from the darkness inside. Now, if you look at all of these sentences, they don't really move the story on at all, okay? These could go in most stories where that setting was around, okay? These could go in most stories where that setting's around because they don't move the settings on. These are here to create the atmosphere. You could have, after this, something happen in your story, then you create a bit more atmosphere with this. But these sentences, their sole job is to create that tension, that scaredness, that suspense in this piece of writing. And that's what your writing should do if it's creating atmosphere well. You should have pieces in there that are there just to create that atmosphere. And you can see how we look at it and we change it, and it just makes it sound a lot better and really grabs that reader in, okay? Have a look at the things that we've talked about again if you're not getting them completely first time. But think about your writing. Think about mainly every single thing you're writing down. Every word that you can, when you're trying to create atmosphere, think about it. Every word in your sentence that you think you can change or edit or maybe swap around to create atmosphere, do it. Okay, obviously some words or determinants, things like that, we can't change, but the words that we can should be used, every single one thought about, and that will create the best atmospheric and the best pieces of reading that really make the reader feel like they're there. I hope that's really helped, and I hope it helps to improve some of your writing out there. Hope you found that video useful, guys, and if you have, please give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. You'll get notifications of any videos that I put up as and when I do. Please share it if you know anyone that will benefit from this and find it useful. And if you've got any questions or anything, comment or use the Twitter or the Facebook page. Till next time, see you later.